I don't believe men were created to be pawns in someone else's game. I believe we were created to be steward kings, men under authority, yes, but entrusted with real responsibility. Not perfect men, but disciplined ones. Men who rule themselves, serve God directly, and refuse to live in fear. King, not pawn. We're going to be starting this new series with the first fruit of the Spirit. By saying that 5 times fast. Love. Okay, and ironically, it's a word that our culture uses the most, but understands the least. Everything is about love these days, right? Love is love. Just love people. If you were more loving, but rarely, very rarely, does anyone ever actually define it. And when love is undefined, it becomes manipulated. So, what is this like cultural version of love that we see? Culture defines love as, affirmation, emotional validation, unconditional approval, and specifically non-confrontation. And if it feels good, it means that it's loving. If it affirms me, it's loving. If it doesn't challenge me, it's loving. But that version of love, it has no spine, it has no boundaries, and it produces fragile men. See, biblical love at the end of the day is ordered, it's not emotional. Scripture says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. Galatians 5:22. Notice something important there. Love is not listed as a personality trait. It is listed as a product of spirit. That means it's flowing from alignment with God, not emotion, not attraction, and definitely not comfort, but alignment. And love, it's not niceness. And this is where a lot of men get it confused these days. They think that love means being agreeable. It doesn't. And here's what it looks like. Jesus loved perfectly. He also confronted, he also corrected, he rebuked, he constantly set boundaries. And then later on, as we know, he flipped tables and he called out hypocrisy and he told hard truths as he needed to. And none of that actually contradicts love at all, because love is not softness. Love is a commitment to someone's ultimate good. I think in men's life, we have this moment where love, it requires a form of discomfort. Maybe it's a friend of yours that's drifting. Maybe it's a brother that's self-sabotaging. It could even be your significant other is crossing a line. And silence most certainly would preserve the peace, and truth is going to create tension. A weak man in that moment, he's going to choose comfort. The loving man is going to choose clarity. And that's because love requires strength. Weak men, they think that love means avoiding conflict. Strong men understand that love ultimately means enduring it for the sake of growth, because that's why Paul writes, love does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth, 1 Corinthians 13:6. So if love rejoices in truth, it can't really coexist with deception now, can it? There's this other thing that we see in our culture today that I would call tribal love. And ultimately, that's not Christ-like either. Our culture, they're constantly wanting you to say, like, I love my side, I love my people, I protect my own. But even the wicked do that. Jesus said in Matthew 5:46, if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? See, biblical love, it extends beyond convenience. It extends far beyond similarity, too. It even extends towards your enemies, those who persecute you, those who have done you wrong over the course of time. And that is real strength, because love is sacrifice. It's not sentiment, okay? The ultimate definition of love is not a feeling, it is the cross. Greater love have no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. Love is going to cost you stuff. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you energy. It's going to cost you comfort. And there's going to be more than once where it's going to cost you your own personal pride and sometimes your reputation. But the good news is that if it costs nothing, then it isn't really love. Now, isn't it? It's preference. Key difference. Sometimes love looks like showing up when you're tired, forgiving somebody when you're wrong, even if they don't admit it. It's just literally letting it go for your own sake. It's providing without recognition, and it's standing firm even when you're misunderstood. There's no applause with that. There's no validation. It's just obedience. And honestly, that is love in its most mature form. Now, to kind of calm down the zealots that are probably watching this video, love does not mean tolerance of evil. Okay, this is also where a lot of men lose clarity. It doesn't mean celebrating sin. It doesn't mean endorsing any form of destruction. And it certainly doesn't mean lowering standards, because God is love and God is holy. And these are not opposites. See, love, it seeks restoration, not indulgence. The order of love here matters, because if you love people more than God, you're eventually going to compromise truth. If you love comfort more than righteousness, eventually you're going to start justifying weakness. At the end of the day, you have to have your orders right. You have to have your priorities straight. You have to love God first, then you have to love others from that alignment with God. Because if you love yourself properly within that structure, then when love is disordered, chaos is going to follow. So why is it that a lot of men struggle with love? I think it's because men confuse love with the idea of romance or passion, being needed. But love is not intensity. Okay, love is stability, it is consistency, it is choosing to do good for somebody else even when your emotions fluctuate. That is what requires discipline, like we talked about in the last video. Love's not weakness. The world may see love as soft, but scripture reveals that love is powerful because it endures the insults, it absorbs all the injustices, and it remains steady under pressure. I don't know about you, but to me that doesn't sound like weakness, right? That is actually strength under control. Love also produces other fruits as well. You know, Notice something about that list in Galatians. Love comes first. Why? Well, it's because the rest flow from it. Joy without love becomes self centered. Peace without love becomes avoidance. And patience without love becomes passive. Love orders everything. And here's the test of the fruit, okay? If your love produces chaos, compromise, cowardice, moral confusion, then it's not one of the fruits of the Spirit. But if your love does produce growth, clarity, stability, trust, it is likely aligned with God. Fruit reveals the root. Love's not sentiment, okay? It is sacrifice. It is strength directed towards somebody else's good. It is truth without hatred, and it is correction without cruelty, and it's stability without ego. Do not let culture redefine love for you. Let Christ define it and become the kind of man whose love has weight, whose love has clarity, and whose love reflects the Spirit of God.